I'm Noam Yafet, and this is a joint work with Uri Alon and Rani Ab. Our work is about generating adversarial examples for models of code. There has been a lot of progress on the application of machine learning to program languages tasks. For example, here is a task of taking a code snippet and generating some descriptive caption for that piece of code. For example, for this snippet, our model generates the caption and places a string in a text file, which as you can see from the code is a pretty good caption. In this example, the GGNN model selects the correct variable that should be used at a given program location. So we can see that in this location, in yellow, the model chose class. With this model, we can find real bugs in our code. Here is another example of bug detection taken from Oopsla Async. This model detects bugs in JavaScript only by variable names without knowing the variable's types. And lastly, we see here code2vec, a model that gets a function body and classifies its name. So here is some code, and it was classified correctly as sort. But we want to ask, can we mislead all of these models? How can we measure the robustness? We know from other areas of deep learning that neural networks are often vulnerable to adversarial examples. Examples that can force the model to make incorrect prediction by small perturbation to the input. For example, here is some panda, and by adding a small noise to it, the model predicts the new picture as a gibbon. Since this is the first work on adversarial examples of code, we need to lay down the goals. The first one is non-targeted attack. So given a program P labeled by correct label L, we want to find the noise to be added to P such that it is labeled with a different label than L. We also defined targeted attack. For that, we want to find the noise such that the new program will be labeled with specific adversarial target T. Of course, the new adversarial program P should be semantically equivalent to the original one. But how can we do it? What does it mean to add a noise to a program? Before we break it, we need some basic background about neural networks. A neural network is a sequence of simple algebraic functions over vectors and matrices. Some of them can be modified, like W here. The goal of the sequence is to produce the right answer for a given input. In this case, we feed the model with "How are you?" and after some computation, we get a distribution over the available output classes. We want the model to predict "How are you?" as neutral, which is not the case here. So we achieved this goal by training, which is the process of updating the model weights. First, we define the loss function that measures the distance between the current prediction and the correct label. And this loss should be minimized, and it's done by gradient descent, which is the process of deriving the loss with respect to the weights and updating the weights with these equations. But how can we feed words into the model? One way to represent a word is by one-hot vectors. Vectors of zeros and only one in one position. So for example, here the first word in the vocabulary is hello, and it's represented by these one-hot vectors, which have the first component 1 and the other are zeros. Another way to represent words, which is the common way, is by using embedding matrix. Here, the ith word of the vocabulary is represented by the ith row of the matrix. For example, hello is represented by the first row of the matrix here, and the entire matrix learned during training. So in other words, instead of feeding the words directly, we look up for the corresponding row vectors, and then we feed them into the model. So now let us return to the previous question. How can we add a noise to a program? So first we defined a noise as a semantic preserving transformation of the code. Many transformations can be used, however for simplicity we will focus on variable renaming and dead code insertion. So let's see an example. The function on the left is sort, and code2vec predicts it correctly. However, by renaming the parameter array to t-types, the prediction is changed from sort to contains. But how can we find the right name? Even if we modify the code by variable renaming only, we still have many options to look for. So we need a method to search wisely in the space of semantically equivalent programs. We propose the dump algorithm, the scaled adversarial manipulation of programs. The key idea here is that we can use the same gradient descent equation, but instead of updating the weights, we're updating the one-hot representation of the variable. And instead of minimizing the loss function j that scores the model for a given input x and its true label y, we minimize the loss function for given x and an adversarial target y bad. In other words, we compute the gradient that will cause the model to shift from the predicting the right label to predict the adversarial one. Here is an illustration of the process. For a given variable named v, the loss is low for the correct label y and high for the adversarial target y bad. By computing the gradient of the adversarial loss function, we can move to a different v prime that has a smaller loss for the adversarial target. Here. For non-targeted attack, we use the same gradient as for training, but instead of the minus here, we're adding the gradient to v. In this way, we increase in the loss instead of decreasing it. So practically, when we want to make an adversarial example from a given code sample x, we should first choose a variable in the code and compute the gradient for targeted or non-targeted tasks. Then we add this gradient to the variable and then check if it works. But we still have another problem to deal with. So let's illustrate the process. We chose some variable v and there is its one-hot representation. Then we add the gradient to it, but the new vector we got is no longer a one-hot vector. So to complete that, we are maxing the new vector, and this will give us a one-hot representation again. Intuitively, we can think of this vector as a distribution over the entire word in the vocabulary. When we do argmax, we just pick the most probable word for succeeding with the attack. So in summary, we should first compute the gradient, then we pick a new name by argmaxing the sum, and then check whether the new code confuses the model. So let's see some examples. We are still using the sort function we saw earlier, and let's try targeted attack. So we choose the adversarial target contains, and dump will generate for us this code. And this code will force code2vec to predict it as contains. And we can try different labels as well. So let's try get or index of, and again dump generate for us these examples. And these examples force code2vec to predict them as get and index of. And here we pick the functions contains and chose escape, load, and foo as targets. And by naming lm to these variables, we can generate these adversarial examples that will force the code2vec model to think that this is escape, and this is foo, and this is load. And there is an example of an insertion of a dead code. How can we do it? We can insert a new declaration of an arbitrary variable to the original code, and then rename that variable by dump. This gives us an adversarial dead code that shifts the model prediction. Here we can see reverse array predicted as sort only by inserting the declaration of intro sorter. Another feature we discovered is that a given adversarial dead code will have the same effect across different examples. So we can take almost any code, like index of here, insert the declaration of intro sorter to it, and it will make code2vec predicts it as a sort. These tables compare the success of dump against other baseline on both targeted and non-targeted attacks by variable renaming and dead code insertion transformations. So first we define robustness as the percentage of examples in which the adversary failed to change the correctly predicted label. Therefore, the lower the score, the better the adversary. The trivial adversary here rename the variable to the given target. For example, it will rename v to init or to size. For non-targeted attack, it's just picking a random name. The TF-IDF rename the variable v to a name that is most common in function with the chosen target name. We can see that dump outperforms the baseline. Also, we can notice that the dead code attacks is harder than variable renaming. We assume it's because that a single line of dead code has a small influence on the model computation. So we try dump on the var misuse task and GNN models. Here the model selects runtime type correctly as the right candidate for the blue location. However, when we change the parameter requested types to that, the model chose the wrong candidate. We tested dump on GGNN and GNN film models and compared against the baseline that picks a random name. For targeted attack and for each example, we picked a random candidate as the target. And again, dump outperformed the baseline. We can notice that GNN film is more robust than GGNN. We hypothesize that this is primarily because the message passing function in GNN film has a more complex computation on the graph than in the GGNN model, and therefore it is more robust because it depends on many parts of the code. After we saw the successful attacks, how can we mitigate them? We tried different approaches, some require to retrain and some not. With retraining, we tried adversarial training, adversarial fine-tuning, train without variables, and train with smaller vocabularies. And without retraining, we fed the code to a defensive model before the model of code. The goal of the defense model is to fix the given input. This approach is appealing since it allows us to separate the optimization of the model from the optimization of the defense. And in that way, we can easily tune the balance between the two. So we tried two defensive models. One omits all the variables in the code, and one omits outlier variables. So it searches for outlier variable in the embedding space, and then it filters it out. The distance of the outlier variable is determined by hyperparameter sigma. And here are the results. We're still using robustness as the measurement, but here higher is better. When we compare the defenses, we should examine two factors. First, how robust the new model is against adversarial examples, and second, how good the model is in predicting while not under attack. And we measure it in relation to the original call-to-vec, as you can see here. For example, non-vars defense reaches 100% robustness by construction, but at a cost of a 20% drop in performance compared to code-to-vec. So we need to choose the sweet spot. For defense with retraining, adversarial training achieved good scores in robustness while keeping good performance while not under attack. And for defense without retraining, the outlier detection defense achieved similar robustness scores as adversarial training, but with only 2% degradation in performance. So we'd like to discuss about the sigma hyperparameter of the outlier detection defense. Sigma enables us to balance between robustness and performance. So higher sigma will make the model behave like code-to-vec. So it is more precise, but it is also allows out of context variables, so it is more vulnerable. On the other hand, lower sigma gives us more restrictive model and thus more robust, but at the cost of lower accuracy. So let's recap. We defined new tasks of adversarial examples for models of code, targeted and non-targeted. We introduced dump, which is a simple approach for attacking many PL models, and we compare different defenses to mitigate adversarial examples. Of course, all the source code can be found on our GitHub. So I hope you enjoyed the talk, and thank you.